culture and customs. We respect the traditional owners of the lands and waters we inhabit and acknowledge their elders past and present. We celebrate the enrichment of Aboriginal communities around Australia. We recognise the lasting impact of colonisation and dispossession. We salute those who have fought for the rights of First Peoples. Their legacy is our guiding light today and always.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are around the world. Hi, I am Keely, aka the Kegsta. A little bit under the weather here, as you can see the scarf if you're watching on the vid. And from the pod, I'll just give you a few sniffs. Yeah, I'm doing okay, but I am coming to you from the traditional lands, even the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people, part of the Kulin Nation. Southern was never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. We have a cracker of a show for you tonight. Tonight is the official last day of Reconciliation Week, and with that, we will talk about, or I will in particular, talk about a couple of books that I highly recommend that you go out and read and educate yourself on the history of Australia. They're particularly good. And I have a podcast that goes with it. As we will say, links are in the show notes. COVID countdown. Oh, yeah, it's back, baby. Yeah, it's back. And we'll have a little bit of a look about that. And whales have been spotted having a whale of a time. These majestic mammals are making a splash worldwide. Well, they are, and I found out today they've actually been taken off the endangered species list, which is an absolute fantastic thing to have happened. I'm very, very happy about that. Beerduction, another thing, very happy about. I'm hopping in to taste the hazy pale from Stomping Ground, a brew that is smooth as it is cloudy. Wencee, who you will meet very, very soon, if you haven't already, will raise a glass to the Boat Rocker Brewing's Northern Red. It's a bold English ale that's sailing straight into Flavortown. Sorry about that. I probably need to give you this, I think, for that. Wencee dishes out the scoop on China's latest grain tech, from traditional silos to high-tech granaries in farming 2.0. Plus, what's up in renewables? I'm going to shine a light on China's latest energy innovations. You might be surprised. And then just right at the end, we're going to have Joke of the Week, because we haven't had it for a little while. And it's a certified groaner. So there you go. But no, we should have a couple of good ones there. So hang in there, and we'll have a fantastic show for you. Before we do, we have to do this. We do it every week. I'll keep doing it. What's I, the co-hostess, we're the mostest. Oh, good evening.
Hello. How are you doing other than being under the weather?
I'm good, but you just got soft all of a sudden. You were.
Have I?
Yeah, you were really good before, but a little bit soft.
That's just a dad bod.
Don't
say that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't talking about your physicality. I mean, that's
right.
No, your voice, you dingbat. But anyway, I'll let you introduce yourself.
As you rightly said, I am a Wencee, or Wencee, depends on what day of the week it is. Coming to you from the lands of the Turrbal and Jagera people, and I acknowledge their brilliance in their. Let me start that all over again. I'm really.
I'll mark it for the pod too.
Yes, please. I do acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather today, the Jagera and Turrbal people, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging, and extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who have a deep and enduring connection to this land, its waters, and its culture. That's me.
Fantastic, Wencee. How is it up there in Brisbane? Did you? I think the Gold Coast was getting a lot of rain the other day. Is that right?
Over the weekend it did. Friday, Saturday, just almost torrential, wouldn't say torrential,
Yeah,
but it did rain quite a bit.
yeah, that's what it.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
Did you get that in Brisbane as well?
Yeah, got that in Brisbane, and come Sunday and through till today, it's been beautiful, nice and sunny. Beautiful one day, crappy. No, it's the other way. Crappy one day, beautiful the next.
Nice. No, we've been actually having some gorgeous winter days. It's just obviously getting colder, but today was not one of those gorgeous winter days. It was. I think it was raining most of the day, but that's fine. I was inside working, so if you can't enjoy it, it might as well rain.
Yeah, exactly.
And we need it because there's droughts everywhere, as they keep telling us. So
yeah. I must admit that it is very unseasonal for it to be this wet this time of year, because winter for us is usually dry, not wet.
Right. Well, we know all about climate action, climate change, don't we? But I wanted you to get back onto the Reconciliation Week, because tonight, as I said, is the last day of Reconciliation Week. And do you have anything you can share? Did you go to any Reconciliation Week?
Yes.
Did you take part?
Like I mentioned it during last week's show, there was one in Queen Street Mall on the Wednesday, so after our show. I did go to that, and it was called The Gathering, and it was two presenters. I missed the first 10-15 minutes of the first guy, but they both basically spoke about that it's time to talk and start the truth-telling process and things like that. And the more we talk about it, about their past and things like that, we can move forward and reconcile, I guess, hence the name Reconciliation. And yeah, so it should be, it was definitely worth going to.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. And it's interesting that you said the truth telling, because a really good friend of yours and mine, I was speaking to just recently, and he said he went to a cultural awareness day, and I'd had conversations with him in the past, and they weren't as I thought they may be. He didn't seem quite as across things as I thought he might have been. But it was really, really interesting, because he came back to me and he said, "Oh my God, we've fucked those guys over, haven't we?"
We have.
And
you and I know that.
And I was like, well, look, it's taken you a while, a long while, but at least now you know. And that's what it's about. It's just everything you just did, It's about us being culturally aware, which means that we need to go to these events and find out, or in this case, listen to this magnificent podcast, which is on the Big Ideas podcast, and it's called The Ghosts Are Here. And the reason it's called The Ghosts Are Here is because when Cook, and I'll tell you another tiny little story, we've got heaps to go, so I'm not going to digress too much, but just a little bit of background. The reason it's called Ghosts Are Here is because when the Indigenous saw, and there's a bit of a conjecture to whether Cook discovered Australia or they discovered him.
As in the First Nations discovered him.
Yeah, correct, the Indigenous. Because what happened was, when he started getting his ship anywhere near the coast, they had message sticks and message fires going up all along the east coast. So they had this message going all along: danger, danger, ghosts are coming, ghosts are here. And they would be going, wara wara wai, wara wara wai, wara wara wai. And that meant the ghosts are here. But what Cook and the people on the ship, I don't know what you call those.
Convicts?
No, well, no, they're not convicts. They're coming from England. No, they weren't.
Yeah.
Joseph Banks was on that ship. Yeah. But anyway, he's a prick. But anyway, they thought they were saying, sort of like, get out of here, or go away or whatever. But they weren't. they were saying the ghosts are here. And that was because what they could see was white faces, et cetera, et cetera. Because, they used to wear a lot of makeup as well as just being pale anyway.
Yeah, true.
So what they saw were ghosts, and in their sort of minds, and they thought it was ghosts of their ancestors, but they couldn't work out why they had red on them, because obviously they couldn't see the coats, etc., from where they were. They could only see the colours and the whatever. So anyway, that's sort of where these sort of not these, but a particular book, which is actually called War Why, and that book is written by, and I'll show you the title in a minute. That book is written by Darren Ricks and Craig Cormick, and Craig Cormick has written many books. And Darren Ricks is a Indigenous elder and sort of consultant in that space as well. And they wrote this book in particular. And the whole idea of this book was they went up the east coast of Australia, and they, exactly what you said before, they truth told with all of the mobs all the way up to get to talk to the elders to find out what actually happened from an Indigenous perspective when Cook landed. Now, a couple interesting things about Cook. You probably know this anyway, in case you don't. He wasn't the first guy picked. He was the third guy picked.
What,
he wasn't
to Australia?
Yeah. Yes, because they had one guy in mind, but he was up himself, so they decided they didn't want him. And then there was another guy, but I don't think he was competent enough.
Right.
And I think he was a little bit headstrong. What they wanted was someone that was really good at following rules and a really good Navy person. And so they came up with Cook. And Cook isn't a captain either. He's a lieutenant.
Okay.
Doesn't become a captain until he actually leaves Australia.
Right.
So when he discovered, which he didn't, he was a lieutenant. So that's all false as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so much history that is wrong. But anyway, so War Why is all about that, and it's a magnificent book. I'll show you the front of it in a minute. The other book is called I Am Nanika Rook, and that's by an author called Tasma Walton. Tasma Walton's an actor and writer, and she's fluent in, I think, multiple Indigenous languages. And it's amazing, and it just sounds beautiful when she speaks the language. And her book is all about, I think it's actually a novel, but I think it's based on her grandmother, I think, or her grandmother's grandmother, etc., etc. But there is a lot of crying moments in her book, in particular, because as you know, a lot of violence, etc. And I've just started War Why. You can get both of these in the library, by the way. You don't have to go and buy them if you can't afford to buy them. That's fine. Just go to your library.
Yeah,
we talk about that on the show. Yeah, the library, you can borrow just about everything. So anyway, I'll just put these up quickly, and then we'll move on to whales being spotted in Sydney Harbour, which is pretty bloody cool.
Or we can move on to a different segment.
Oh yes, we could, couldn't we? That's true. We could do that. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I'll give you leeway because you're sick as a dog.
Yes, that's true. I am sick as a dog. Absolutely. Okay, so this is that's the War Why. It's a beautiful book. It just feels beautiful when you hold it. It's really, really lovely. And so I highly recommend that. And this is the other one, and that's that one.
That's the Tasma Walton one.
Yeah, that's beautiful too. Because Tasma Walton was brought up in Sorrento. And that's got a really good Indigenous name. For the life of me, obviously, I can't think about it. I can't think of what it is. But I'm going to read that one after I've read this one. So
nice. I like the I wouldn't call it a silhouette because it's not a silhouette, but it's got an imprint of a whale with the what appears to be a mother and child holding hands, walking. Exactly
right. And that's exactly sort of what the book is sort of like, spiritual and lots of it's definitely from a woman's business perspective, if you know what I mean. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. So
nice.
So do yourself a favour, people, and get reading and educate yourself. But before we go any further, I need to do this. Over to you, my friend. I know you're chomping at the bit.
I am. Okay, because it's warm up here, I need to go first.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
I am going to review this one here, which is, if I can hold it straight.
Yeah.
Boat Rocker.
I've heard of Boat Rocker. Yeah. Boat Rocker's Queensland.
This one's an English red ale, but it's a brewery down your part of the world, southeast Melbourne, from Braeside.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was founded in 2009 by Matt and Andrea Houghton. He got inspired by beer in the 80s when he was a teenager, when he watched a TV show called The Beer Hunter, which is on YouTube. I don't know how many episodes there are, but I could see at least 6. And it's basically a guy, I think he's English by the accent, who went and does.
He goes out in the forest and hunts for beer. Is that right?
Pretty much. And in the first episode that I started watching, he goes off to California in the late 80s, where there were about 200 breweries on display, craft beers. So this is late 80s, so the burgeoning start of the craft beer, I guess, in America. So Matt got inspired by that. Took him years before he actually got into. He always wanted to do something with beer, so he ended up going to Ballarat University and studied how to brew beer and things like that. And eventually, nearly 20 years ago, he opened up Boat Rocker with his wife, and they started off small and they've expanded quite a bit.
So they've been going for 20 years, Boat Rocker.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 16 years, not 20.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
Round it up. I've been very generous. Round it up.
You are being very generous. Very generous.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And in 2017, Boat Rocker expanded into distilling by merging with Hippocampus Distillery, and they do, as well as craft beers, they do craft spirits. But yeah,
craft spirits. What does that mean?
Well, they're just spirits, but obviously not your big name brand. So your small distillery stores.
I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the one I'm going to review is the Northern Ale, which is only 4.5% ABV. It's an English amber ale. Haven't been able to find any other details as to what type of hops and etc. So that's a 1.3 beers per standard drinks. Sorry, which way do I go? That way.
1.3.
Oh, 1.3.
Yeah, it's not much, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit light.
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad considering I had a very small glass of wine with dinner tonight. So.
Yes, no, that'll be perfect.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do before I get started is share our thingy. What do you call this? Our taste tester.
Our tasting notes.
Tasting notes. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even the one who's ill, and my words have left me. All right, here we go. I'm going to crack it open. I should do it here close to the microphone.
Nice.
And I do like a red.
You do like a red. You do like a red.
So
I particularly like a red.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yep, perfect.
Just trying to work out where I'm not going to spill it, just in case.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, watch what you're doing.
What's that? All righty, here we go.
That's nearly, well, it looks darker than red.
Yeah, just very dark, isn't it? Talk about amber.
I wouldn't call. I don't know.
That's like a dark amber.
That's a freaking dark amber. Yeah. That's a real dark amber.
Man, the head's all gone already. So
yeah, it has totally.
Yeah, it's like
interesting. All right, so
what's the
we've
first thing we
got
do?
appearance. Well, I don't know.
I don't know, 8.
Yeah. Well,
it's darker
is that
than normal? But does it bother me? No.
No. Okay. Fair enough. Then.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Stick your 8 down.
Yep. Here we go. 8. All right.
Smell.
Yep, smells like beer. Very light beer. I guess I would normally expect a bit of caramelization in an amber because sometimes
it's hard to smell that though.
Yeah, it is. It's not overly powerful, so I'll probably give it a 7.
7. Okay, now the big one. Got the 2 next big ones. Well, 3 next big ones, really.
Definitely not your normal red ale. It almost tastes like it's a soft drink.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call it sweet, but it is a little bit sweet, but not like a soft drink sweet.
Okay.
No abbotness at all. So
right.
Bitter.
Okay.
So if you're into bitters, then avoid.
Don't have this.
No, that's right.
Don't have this. Yeah.
So taste-wise, I'm gonna give it 20.
Ooh.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Aftertaste. Aftertaste doesn't linger.
Do you like a linger?
I do like a linger, especially the bitterness, or especially if it's got those complex flavors.
You like to taste them for a while.
Yeah, I like to keep tasting it even after it's gone down. So I'll give it another taste. Of course, I've got to try it.
We need to do the drinkability. So
yeah. So aftertaste, give it 15. Drinkability, I've already had my second sip. Would I go back for it again? If you're into a light beer and not fussed with complexity, then it's a decent drink. I'd give it 22.
Yeah, wow. So we're talking 72.
Yeah. 15, yeah.
Another one of your low ones.
Yeah. I do like them higher, but look, 72 is not terrible.
No, but look, have a look at the other 3 scores above it.
Yeah. We won't talk about the first one. Oh gosh, that was 66. Another amber. I'm not having luck with ambers.
No, you were keeping me in the game there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go.
We go from an unknown brewery to a reasonably known stomping ground.
Yes, we do. And you've probably had one of these, I assume.
I have had stomping ground.
Have you had this one?
I'm assuming the hazy I've had.
Yeah. I just bought half of that.
Have you seen the can?
Yeah, trying to get the can up.
Oh, yeah, that's familiar. Yep.
See that all right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Now, this is how I pour it nowadays.
Okay, can't see. Okay, a bit higher.
Look at that.
Let it spill. Don't let it spill.
Perfect head.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I know. Thank you.
So, appearance, it's a hazy pale, and it's called a Big Sky Hazy Pale. I would say that is everything that you would expect in a hazy. So for me, I'll give that an 8.
An 8, nice.
It's got a great
smell. I don't know how you score a 10 appearance, to be honest.
No, I don't know either. It's got a great sniffer.
It must be great if you can smell it if you're under the weather.
Yeah, no, it is. I can smell the citrus. It's definitely citrus, and I can smell it.
I do like a good citrusy smell in the.
It's a tropical hazy citrus, and you can smell it. It's nice. It's nice. Again, this is only a 4.32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I know with the hazies, I'm used to anywhere between 5.5 and onwards. So
yeah, as high as 7 or 8 even sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's inspired by golden skies and hazy horizons. This award winner has bright tropical fruit flavors, light bitterness, and a refreshingly dry finish. It's about $27 a pop, I think, for 6. So
that's not too bad, I guess. Just over $4.
Not too bad. So it's a nice drop. It's a good.
So
okay.
Out of 10 for a smell?
8. It's a good smell. It's a good smell.
Nice. And the taste. Drum roll.
It's funny. I think it does look awesome, and I think it does smell great. But I think it lacks a little in taste. I'm not exactly sure.
So you're not getting the citrus punch or anything like that?
I mean, it could be because I'm a bit under the weather as well, but give it 25.
25? That's decent.
And unlike yours, it definitely does linger. You can definitely, and I don't mind that because you can get a sort of like a high note citrus. It's not bad. So aftertaste, probably give it 16, maybe 7. Yeah, 16 will do. And drinkability, I would say probably 25.
Oh, 256. What does that come out to?
82, I think.
Plus 16 plus 50.
If I've done my maths right.
82, well done. Well ahead of mine, 10 points.
Yes. Yeah, the Kegsta wins again.
Yes. Yes, you have. Well done.
But no, and just a couple of things about the Stomping Ground, which you highly recommend. Links are in the show notes, as we always say. This is another Melbourne beer. Champion Large Brewery 2021 and 2024, Queensland Royal Food and Wine Awards. Champion Australian Medium Brewery 2022, AIBA Awards. Best Brew Pub in Australia since 2017 to 2022, Beer and Brewer magazine. So it's got a few accolades, the old Stomping Ground. And if you're interested in going to the breweries, it looks like they have a couple, one in Moorabbin and one in Collingwood.
Oh, nice.
So do yourself a favour and get down there if you're listening in Melbourne and enjoy some food and beer. So there you go. That is that. I don't have a lot more to say on that at all,
okay.
Wencee.
We'll just enjoy it during the rest of the show, won't we?
Absolutely. But what I can do is do this.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
Blurt. Around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world. Around the world, around the world.
And because I've already gone off half cocked, you can go and full cock the rest of it. So to speak.
I don't think I'll touch that one.
No, touching's probably not a good phrase either.
Carry on. Alrighty.
Talk amongst yourself, listeners.
Yeah. Giggle as much as you want while I chat about the inclement weather that you're going through right now. Some people would hate that weather and would seek warmer weather. In the case of the whales, they're seeking warmer waters, and it's that time of year again when.
Is that right? They want warm waters.
Yeah, so they're trying to escape their winter down in the Antarctica, and they're migrating up north, coming up along the eastern seaboard, eastern coast of Australia.
Into Sydney Harbour.
Yeah, sometimes they do. Yeah, so if you're close to a coast, along anywhere between Melbourne, I guess, more likely like eastern Victoria, all the way up through Queensland. If you're anywhere near the coast, see if you can get along to a cliff or anything. Grab your binoculars, see if you can find them. Quite likely you will see some.
Yeah, I think they said between June and July, basically, if you just look outside your window and you're in Sydney on the coast, you should see them.
You might see them. Sometimes they do get pretty close to the coast.
And as I said, they're coming to the harbour. So
yeah, exactly. Dr. Vanessa Perotta, a Sydney-based whale scientist, says that peak blubber to blubber traffic on the highway occurs between mid-June and early July, and that's when crowds will flock to Greater Sydney's headlands and beaches, hoping to have a look at these massive creatures as they surface full air and come back down and play and things like that.
Have you got any show and tell?
I do. I
like it.
Just do that. Oh, helps if I click there and I click there and I click here. Not here. Okay. Should be coming up any second now. There we go. Yeah, so you can see in the background there of that whale.
How close it is to
the city beaches in Sydney. And obviously there'll be boat tours and things like that.
Well, that must be Manly Beach, surely.
Could be. Doesn't say there, does it? That's that. There's another photo.
Wow.
So as you can see, if you're watching on the vid, they can weigh up to 40 tons in weight.
Oh my!
They're still so majestic, and they just look so pretty as they come up, don't they?
They do, but gee whiz, you wouldn't want to be too close in a boat.
No, I wouldn't be close unless I've definitely got a life jacket on me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Mind you, though, that water's, I mean, they might be warm, but it's probably still too cold for you, I imagine.
Yeah. Anything below 25 for me now is too cold. It's got to be like a warm bathtub. So there's another photo.
They're pretty toughed up there in Brisbane.
Yes, we weaken our we become really soft as the longer we stay up here. That's for sure. But I'll share this link.
It's a good read.
Just from the Guardian News.
Yeah, no, it's a cracker of a read. And as I was saying before, the other beautiful thing is that they are now officially off the endangered species list. So I'm really happy about that.
Is that because there's less whaling?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Reasons?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Because I think whaling's pretty much banned, isn't it?
I don't think it is, unless it's for research purposes.
But I thought
what Japanese used to claim.
Yeah, no, but I even thought the Japanese weren't doing it anymore. That's why we've got humpback whales.
I don't know.
I'm just doing
some homework.
Yeah, I'll put in my homework. Stick it in.
If you ask questions and we don't know the answers, we get homework.
We do get homework. So I'll just put that in. Whale.
So we will bring you the latest next week on that one.
We will indeed do that. The other thing we will do, and we haven't done this for a while, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, but there you go. It's the COVID countdown, and
that time we're counting numbers again.
Look, we're not counting numbers necessarily, but it is not good. You can see I'm wrapped up at the moment. I've had this since last Tuesday, so that's over a week.
because you were showing signs during last week's show.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting one, this one, because I had the COVID throat for a couple of days, and then I thought, oh, okay, cool, I'll start getting better. But that did not happen. I kept having horrible coughs and all the rest of it, and I won't be in the office now until next week, with a bit of luck. And I did a bit of reading, and the new COVID variant NB1.81 is
memorable.
Smashing the world at the moment. It's a variant under monitoring due to its spread, and it spreads more easily, and which means you can partially evade immunity. This is the problem. So they it is of the Omicron lineage, and it was first detected in January this year.
Right.
And they are highly recommending that you get a booster. And it doesn't cost you anything.
No.
So just go out there and get it.
Thanks for the reminder, because we were talking about that over the weekend. We need our boosters and RSV shots and influenza shots. So
yeah, flu shots as well.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently, there's 18,000 cases of flu in Victoria as well.
Wow, a week?
So I don't know how many are in Sydney and all the rest of it, but yeah, they reckon flu and COVID this year are going to be bad. So everyone out there, get yourself jabbed up. And if you're a vaccine hesitant type person, stay home.
Yeah.
Don't need you in the public transport, because that's obviously probably where I picked this up from. The COVID case numbers in Australia have been ticking up to in late May. It's among the circulating strains generally increasing in Australia. Victoria had over 40% of sequent cases up to May the 6th of NB1.81. So of all the cases they had, 40% was NB1.81. And the wastewater surveillance in Perth shows that NB181 is the dominant variant as well. So symptoms of vaccination, no evidence suggests that NB181 causes any more severe disease than any of the other variants. The symptoms align same as the Omicron subvariants as before: fatigue, fever, etc. Yep, got all that. Current COVID vaccines should still protect against severe disease, i.e. not dying. Consider a booster if eligible, and especially if medically vulnerable, for protection this winter. So you have heard it from the New Blurt. Get yourself out there and get yourself sorted.
Get yourself jabbed.
That's it.
Go do
Jab
it.
up, people. Jab up. Over to you, Wencee.
I don't think there's anything else for me for...
Oh, no, you're right. No, you're right. We've actually hammered through that.
We bookended the Beerduction with Blurt Around the World.
We did indeed. So we're doing beautifully on time, which means we should probably just do this, and then I'll do...
I like Chinese. I like Chinese.
Welcome to Chinese Takeaway.
Now, since you've got a bit of show and tell with Chinese Takeaway, I do not, so therefore I'll go first.
Okay.
And excuse me, I'll just try this again. Just get this out of the way. So I wanted to talk about where China's renewable sort of energy milestones are as in comparison to the world. Now, to the world's a little bit hard. So towards the end of this, I've done the comparison to Australia just to get an idea of per capita where they sort of are compared to where we are. And it's pretty interesting. So their solar power hit 26% of electricity in 2025. It's a new record.
26% of solar across
Yep.
that country.
That's
Wow.
huge, isn't it? It's nuts. The
Do you know-
wind
do you know,
reached.
is that domestic and industrial, or is it?
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
Wow.
is. Yep. Wind reached 13.6 and solar 12.4, both individual monthly highs. Solar power share tripled from 4.1% to 12.4.
Wow.
This is from April 2020 to April 2025. So in 5 years, they've tripled their solar power. It's not bad
Amazing.
in a huge country like that.
Mm.
So, people talk about, what they're doing for the climate action and have a crack at China for different things. You can crack at China for lots of different things, but they're doing all these sort of programs, etc., for their people, not for the world.
Yeah.
But because there's, enough people there that know that there's an issue as well. But I'll go on to some stuff afterwards and you'll see it's not all roses as usual. So, China's 2024 new solar capacity, 333 gigawatt, exceeded the rest of the world combined.
Wow.
The first quarter of 2024 saw 72 gigawatts added. That was an 18% year increase,
Jeez.
which is huge.
Mm.
That's a fifth increase. That's huge. Absolute solar generation hit record 96 I think it's terawatts in April 2025 and expected to rise. The shifting energy mix, fossil fuel generation dropped 3.6% in early 25. So that's showing a structural shift away from fossil fuels. It is a small shift, but still a shift.
It's a shift
3.6
in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. The transition is crucial given that 2024 was the hottest year on record. China's 2024 clean energy investments hit 940 billion.
Wow. An investment almost $1 trillion.
Nearing their fossil fuel spending.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
It is pretty astonishing stuff. So I've just got a comparison here of renewable energy targets between China and Australia. And the overall renewable target is a reach of 1,200 gigawatts of wind and solar capacity by 2030. Apparently, that is already exceeded early.
Jeez. Wow.
Australia is 82% renewable electricity by 2030 under the renewable energy target. So there's a little bit of they're under slightly different regimes. So it's hard to, and I explain a couple of things. So the carbon neutrality goal is achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. This is China. Mm-hmm. We're doing net zero emissions by 2050. As Albo came out this week and said, not zero, net zero.
Yeah, it's the difference. It's all about the maths, the dodgy maths.
It is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Solar power, we just talked about that before. 32 gigawatts of rooftop solar by 2030, already leading per capita in the world. That's Australia. Wind power, 40% of electricity from wind by 2030, supported by projects like Snowy 2.0. Hydropower is limited growth. It's already mature in Australia. It's already 7% of the grid. But it's in China, it's 380 gigawatts capacity, 2022. Growth is slowing, but still expanding. So they're not doing a lot on the water side. They're doing a lot on the wind and the solar, etc.
Yeah.
The energy storage is 30 gigawatts of battery storage by 2025. They're rapidly scaling. Hopefully they're not talking to Alien Head. And we've got 15 gigawatts of battery storage planned by 2030. Right. Supporting grid stability. Now, the interesting things here is the policy framework. So they've got a framework that's got emphasizes renewables plus nuclear. This is China. Our framework is the renewable energy target, and that has a lot to do with the states, etc. So Victoria's renewable target to 2035 is 95%.
Okay, that's pretty high.
It is pretty high. It's because we don't have bugger all fossil. We don't have bugger all investments in fossil fuels, etc.
Yeah, all the coal mines down, where is it? The Gippsland. A lot of them have shut down or in the process of shutting down.
Exactly right. I mean, that's why. I mean, I think we're in 200 billion in debt, I think, in Victoria. But if you actually look at debt to GDP and the local GDP and the assets and all the rest of it, it's nowhere near as bad as people that just like to do black and white all the time. But one of the biggest reasons is because we do not have the comfort of using fossil fuels to keep giving us revenue. Whereas the other states keep killing the planet. So,
like WA and Queensland.
Yes, and WA going
to
kill it even more.
Yeah.
With that expansion on the coast, that's just a carbon bomb. That's just terrible.
Oh, the one in WA up north. Yeah.
It's just shocking. So a couple of things here, and I'll get going. But a couple of things here that are important to know is China has a larger absolute target, but due to its massive energy demand, it focuses on the utility scale wind and solar. But Australia has the higher per capita renewable adoption, but it's smaller in total capacity, which we obviously know. Both are aiming for net zero emissions, but China's is a decade later, 2060. Storage investments are growing in both, etc. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the definitions, and it's important. The carbon neutrality typically refers to balancing CO2 emissions and with removals, which is like via forests or carbon capture. And as we know, carbon capture is bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's not cutting the mustard there. And then net zero emissions.
Not a proven method, is it? Like long term, the
carbon capture. They don't have any real data evidence on carbon capture working on any major project in the world, and they keep bullshitting on about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty annoying. I mean, you've only got to listen to the Australia Institute and their climate experts there. I think Polly Hemming, she's a gun in that space. Well, she's a gun in a lot of spaces, but she's a gun in the climate space. And just saying carbon capture is just fantasy, really.
Yeah.
So net zero emissions is what we do, and the rest of the world is doing. But what that covers is all greenhouse gases.
Right. Okay.
Including methane, nitrous, and fluorinated gases. Whereas carbon neutrality is only CO2 emissions with carbon capture. So that's what I'm saying. There's lots of wriggle room, etc., etc. So peak emissions by 2030 before declining. That's China. So imagine how much fossil fuels is going through there before 2030.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to reduce it in that time frame, even 2040, because the manufacturing just takes up so much energy.
Well, yeah, I know. Spot on. So our pledge is net zero by 2050. But there's no formal proper, they don't have a proper framework for phase out of the phase in, if you like, of the transition. That's what they should be talking about. They should be talking about it every day, and they should be educating people, not running away from it like gutless turds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've said it before, and either here or privately. I know I say it quite often. No one ever talks about the transition for these country towns that will lose that industry, whether by choice or because the market has forced it. No one's talking about, okay, what do we do to get rid of this mining industry of X, Y, Z? What do we do with the people who work there? How do we transition them to new jobs, to new industries? Just, you don't hear it. The Greens talk about it every now and then, but the major parties hardly ever.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's something the Greens should be talking about a lot this year.
Often.
They should be talking about the transition all the time.
Yeah.
Because then people might listen to the Greens party. That's what they need to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I vote Green in the Senate, but I can also understand why people would vote Labor and be annoyed with certain, well, not grandstanding, but standing in the way of some progress instead of no progress.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah,
100% of nothing is a lot less than 10% of something.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, Australia's pledge 2050. The criticism is it lacks strong federal mandates, and it's heavily reliant on all the states to get this done.
Yeah,
which we can tell because they're not talking about it federally. So,
no.
But anyway, this was China, but I just thought that was particularly interesting from a China perspective and how much work they're doing. So
yeah, how they're progressing so quickly,
yeah,
especially for the size of the country and the population and the manufacturing. They've got so many things that are on a big scale.
Well, the other thing with China too is that for fossil fuel phase out, they've got their coal peaking at 2025, this year, but it remains long term. So there's no shutting all their stuff down, and and they've also got a less detailed roadmap when it comes to transparency of what's happening, etc. So
that is true.
So there you go.
Yeah, interesting. No, thank you for that. Yeah, very enlightening.
All over to you, my friend.
All right. In China, they have progressed with a new technology of for grains, so storing and transporting grain. So your usual thing like flour, rice, that type of products. Normally they get stored in silos that are quite solid and can get quite, it can be challenging to maintain the quality of the product that they're storing. So on May 7, they successfully inflated a silo that can store 9,000 tons of grain. And it is what they call a pneumatic grain storage facility. So what that is it's literally a blow-up silo that is inflated with air pressure, and it also has vacuum technology to keep oxygen out of the silo.
So what materials is it made of?
That I couldn't work out. There's parts of the wall, even though it's inflatable, is partly concrete. But I'll show you a video in a little while, but amazingly, I don't know how they've done it, but yeah, it's like a hot air balloon, and it just blows up until it forms its shape. Actually,
That's crazy.
Yeah, let me just show you. I'll show you.
So that is absolutely crazy.
Sorry, just got to find it in the list because there's so much stuff we've got here. Here it is. Okay. All right. I think it's on the screen now.
Yep.
Okay. Ignore the pollution. Don't worry about that. if that's what it is, unless it's fog.
I'd say, is it pollution?
Yeah, it's in. Is it
Hunan? Yeah, Hunan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I think that's like another super city, Hunan.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it's
all over
pretty.
the country.
Yeah, there you go. Enough to supply food for 23 million people for one day.
For one day. Yep, exactly. So here is the video. It's in Central China. So here it is.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so there it's flat and it's time lapse, but you can see it inflating. It's getting up. Amazing, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That was the first one that got stood up back in early May, and since then they've stood up another 4. So there's still a few more steps to go to
get them
get rid of that.
importing around the world.
Yeah. So there's still other bits that they've still got to connect to those silos. So it's going to be temperature controlled. Like I said earlier, it's a bit like a vacuum where they remove a lot of the oxygen to keep the product fresh. Also keeps insects and rodents out, and things like that. Some of the some of the technology that is involved, and it's not just in that silo, but it's also the transport from where it's grown to the time it gets to the silo. They have a dilute phase conveying or dense phase conveying, and that's the way. So in a dilute phase, that's where the grain is pumped at high velocity but with low pressure, and dense phase conveying is low velocity but high pressure. And here I have a demonstration of what that looks like.
Nice.
Find my mouse.
I would have thought that there'd be a lot of countries around the world that would be super interested in this.
Yeah, Australia should be one of them because we have a lot of grain and stuff like that too. So.
Well, absolutely, and if you don't need the land to build those massive silos, you just blow this thing up.
I am trying to connect.
Mind you, though,
here we go.
try painting one of those things.
Try what?
We've got murals all over our silos.
Yeah, true. Yeah, how are you going to do it on this one? So here is a quick video. It's a very long video, but it's just the start that I'm interested in showing. So you can see there, the top one is the dilute, which is high velocity but very low pressure. And the dense phase conveying is low velocity but high pressure. So that's how they transport it.
Transport what?
The grains, let's say from where it's been picked to get it onto the truck, and then from the truck that gets transported across the country into this silo. So that's how they transport it using those systems. It's called conveying, so like a conveyor belt, but instead of a belt, it's pushed by air. So
I get it now.
So it goes through the tubes and things like that. Some of the other technologies they're using to improve the quality and the storage whilst in that big silo, they have oil-free blowers like what I've just demonstrated, and compressors, valves, temperature control, dust management. So they want to keep it at 40 degrees. Any higher, what I didn't know, that grain dust is highly combustible. And so you've got to maintain the temperature at a low temperature, but not so low that it's cold, but just ideal so that they keep it at 40 degrees or below.
40 degrees Celsius?
Correct.
That sounds pretty high to me.
Sounds warm, but for the grain, it's probably sufficient to keep quality, but it says up to, so I'm guessing it'll be way lower than that. So it all depends on what gets transported in those conveyor systems, whether it's the high pressure or the low pressure. So it could be wheat can go in one, barley, or coffee grounds, flour, rice, and things like that. So
I suppose what I hadn't appreciated with that when you showed that vid was how clean and sterile that whole system was when you think about a silo and a conveyor belt with how much dust would normally be coming off it, etc., and how much you would probably be losing as well because of the dust in the air and all that sort of stuff. Because these things are completely contained and also be a lot safer to handle too, the way they've constructed. So that all of that whole system was constructed in China as well, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Developed, designed, constructed there. And like you said earlier, that 9,000 tonne can feed 23 million people for one day. So obviously that'll expand and be put in different parts of the country. So it keeps it more local, I guess.
Think about that. Think about that for 1 second, right? Wouldn't that give opportunities in the future? Sorry.
just wait there.
Yeah, it's that time of night. It gets that time of night and it gets me. Wouldn't that give opportunities in the future to be able to like be on B-52 bombers or something and deflate that thing and take it over to wherever they need to take it to and then set it up in that country and then sort of blow it up and put all the grain in it type thing so they can preserve it for the people wherever they are.
So you
thing.
mean the whole silo?
Yeah.
I guess.
I wonder if, they try to make it sort of portable in the future because something that is inflatable, you'd think some way, somehow it could be made. I just see with what they've done and their ingenuity there, it seems like to me that there's lots of ways of really using it.
Yeah, possibly.
But
yeah,
what I was going to, sorry, go for it.
It's pretty heavy. You're talking about 9,000 ton just in grain plus the structure. I don't know. Can a plane lift that?
No, I wasn't thinking about the grain so much. Because I mean, they carry a lot of grain for and rice, etc. when they're trying to send aid places. So I don't know how many ton of rice and aid and whatever.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be. I probably wouldn't feed 23 million. I wouldn't have thought.
No.
But anyway, I just feel that there's a lot of upside with that. It looks,
oh, for sure.
It looks like a really amazing invention.
Yeah,
they're very smart people over there in China. Just so you know, in case you didn't know, Henan's population is approximately 70 million.
Wow.
So yes,
double.
Yeah,
nearly triple Australia's.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, as I say, it's not just one of their big super cities. It's the 7th most populous province in China.
Wow. 70 million in one state. Province.
Yep, in one state. And with that,
my brother-in-law was addicted to the hokey pokey. It was a rough couple of years, but he turned himself around.
Joke of the week.
and as I like to do, I like to have themes with my jokes.
You do, don't you?
I do. So this week's theme is being sick.
Oh, no.
So what does a mountain say when it's sick?
What does a mountain say when it's sick? Well, blow me over, Mount Vesuvius.
I'm so happy you finished that sentence. I'm feeling hill.
Not bad. Not bad.
What you got for me?
Okay, I met a girl who runs a battery kiosk at the park. So basically, she sells seashells by the seesaw.
Very good.
I'm surprised I got that one.
What does a spy do when he gets cold? Come on, you work this one out.
No.
Goes undercover.
Of course. Okay. My doctor said I need to schedule some time for exercise. So I've penciled in 3 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. on September the 7th, 2026, tentatively.
Very good. Very good. What medicine would you give an ill ant?
Sorry, say that again.
What medicine would you give an ill ant?
Ill ant. No clue.
Antibiotics.
When I was young, I was scared of the dark. Now when I see my electricity bill, I'm scared of the lights.
That's very good. This is going to be my last one.
Okay.
Where did the duck go when he felt sick?
No clue.
The doctor.
Probably deserve more than that, but I'll take one. Yeah, okay. Of all my body parts, my fingers are the most reliable. I can always count on them.
Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. And with that, we are out, people. That is your lot.
Thank you, everyone. And as Keely is coughing his lungs out, I'm going to say goodbye for this week, and we'll hopefully see you next week with feeling much better, Mr. Kegsta.
Yes, I'm hoping so too. I'll definitely be back next week. So as you said goodbye, I'll say bye as well. Thank you everyone for listening. All the links will be on the show notes. The potty will be out on the weekend. The newest potty just popped out the other day. Fantastic. People are enjoying it, and numbers are going up at the moment. It's really good. It's good to see. So, yeah, just keep enjoying, keep interacting, and we'll keep pumping out pods. So, thanks very much, Wencee.
No problem. We'll see you next week. Bye.